The program presented or submitted by members of our community and are a proud sponsor of KNLY 91.1 FM. The views expressed do not necessarily reflect those of KNLY 91.1 FM and its affiliates.
Thank you for tuning in to today's Entrepreneur. I am Orlando Daniels with 91.1 The Boss, and we are sharing on today. First of all, let me just say TGIF. Thank God that it is Friday, and we are excited about all that God is saying and doing. I actually have several people in the studio sharing with me on today. One is our special guest, which is James Reyna, and then I just have to call him my partner in crime when we get out and we support and sponsor certain events. Mr. Christopher, tell everybody hello. I encourage you all to get familiar with this gentleman. He has so much to offer, but also he is knowledgeable in so many areas. We had a wonderful time on last night at an event for the Chamber of Commerce, and just sitting back and gleaning from him. And I think that's one of the things that we forget to do, is learn how to glean and dig deep and learn and discover what others have to offer. And so today we have Mr. James Reyna, who is the owner of Fearless Boxing Gym. He is here to share quite a bit with us. Also, JR Masonry. What is it? Masonry. Excuse me. Masonry.
You can say masonry or masonry.
Masonry. He's been in the industry of masonry for 32 years, but God had a whole nother plan and just shifted his life, and he's now paying it forward. He's allowing his testimony, or the test that he's gone through, to be a testimony, as well as a means by which others are actually benefiting from what he's gone through. So I'm going to allow him to share quite a bit, but I do want to give you a little bit of the background and the history that I was able to get out of him. He's been boxing since he's 12 years of age. As a matter of fact, let me not take away your opportunity to just share your story. So talk to us, tell the people all about what you are doing, what you have going on, and the event that you have coming up for tomorrow.
Okay, I was just someone that just was blessed with a good opportunity, got put in a great area of Conroe, Montgomery County, and he was blessed from nothing that I was, and had a great business, and I just was successful, and I wanted to give my success back to a passion that I love, which is boxing, and that's what I do. I was blessed, and I did the experience of having all this money and flowing and thinking I was this, that, but at the end of the day, it's all about you. No, it's not about you. It's about helping others, and that's what I want to do.
When we consider how God sets the stage, or the plateau, or the platform by which we're able to aid others, I tell people that we were born with other people in mind. And so prior to Mr. James, we talked about his age and the years of experience that he had in each area, by which he is not just an entrepreneur, but he is an advocate for and mentor for so many kids, as well as an ambassador on God's behalf. And that's one of the things that he pushes. But I love his story. He talked to me a little bit about going from nothing to now being in a position to aid others and becoming all that God has purposed for them. So share us a little bit about going from being homeless to now actually building homes for others.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Well, I was never homeless. I mean, I moved here when I was 21, and I was up to no good. I couldn't get a job. I guess the boom had just crashed around here, and I was doing dumb things like kids do at 21 years old, But I just I had the close calls, and when you get them close calls, you got to trust God and what He's telling you. So you go a different direction, and that's what I did. I got a good job that I fell in love with. It was a hard job, right? It was a masonry job. Now I go to jobs and try and pick up a worker, and I need some masonry helpers, and they think I'm the police or something, But anyway, it was a hard job, and I took it because I was desperate, but at the same time, I took it because I was a boxer. I said, man, if I'm tough, a boxer think I'm a boxer, I'm a bad dude, well, I can go do a hard job, can't I?
Mm-hmm.
So I did, and the first day of work, I fell in love with what I did. I mean, the job was it was hard, but it was just the end of the day when you see your end product is going to be there forever. And I can take that same wall today and see every bricks that I moved and struck and cleaned all the bricks off today. So it's there forever. Masonry is the oldest trade known to man. I was glad to be a part and learn such a hard trade, and then I stuck with it 11 years. Started my own business 22 years ago, and I ain't looked back. I'm just here. I am trying to give back to the blessings that I've received.
Getting you on today, because my whole goal today was to come in for a meeting, then go home and go to bed. That was the goal.
Well,
but God had a whole nother plan, a whole nother idea, and it's wonderful how God positions us to position others. And so I want to give you the opportunity to share, or actually allow Chris to share, because he introduced us, and God has a way of connecting people. And so Chris began to share quite a bit with me about you prior to you coming, but I learned and discovered a little bit more since we've been here at the station and getting prepared for this actual interview. Tell us the story about how the two of you all met.
Well, we actually met at a Father's Day event of all thing through a Gideon that I happen to know. I was out of work. I was basically being kicked out on the street, and I've been doing martial arts, kickboxing, boxing since I was a little kid. And James over here just let me into the gym and let me be a part of his family, and that's what Fearless Boxing is. It's a family out there. They do the Father's Day event. They bring fathers and sons out there, and they do a whole barbecue and get them out in the gym. But what's coming up we're celebrating Roy Harris over here, his 85th birthday.
Yes, we're throwing an event. We throw boxing events. We try and throw 2 or 3 a year. We like to throw 6 a year in behalf of our gym. We host it. We host the show, and we name it. We have to come up with a name. Everybody comes. So this year, and Roy's been a big part of my life. When I moved to Conroe, I boxed for Cut and Shoot Boxing Club with Monty Lane Harris and all the Harris and Lane boys. Anyway, I got to know them, and I've always heard when I moved down here, Roy Harris. And man, you see these old videos and you start looking and researching what this man's done, and it's an awesome thing.
He fought Floyd Patterson for the heavyweight title.
Yes, he did. He fought Floyd Patterson. Yes.
And Roy was a little heavyweight, if I recall. Right?
Yeah, he wasn't one of them gigantic. Yes, sir. You're exactly right. He wasn't, but he was out there fighting them. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't one of these with extra weight. He was just a heavyweight because he was just a I guess big bone guy. But he didn't. He was slim and trim. And what's so cool about Roy Harris? I've known him for years, and I sit there and talk to him, and he's still always involved with kids, helping them out, doing this and doing that with them. And, he's just so passionate about boxing at his age still, and it just amazes me how he just wants to help kids still. Anytime he can talk to one, he still does that.
You kind of model your approach to boxing off of Roy Harris then. When it came to keeping the kids off the street, get them focused on stuff, and tell us a little more about that.
Well, yeah, I was like I said, I was a Cut and Shoot Boxing Club, and I'd go out there, and it was in the last days of their doing what they were doing out there, and I always had a passion to make a boxing facility for kids, to just like a playground of boxing. You know what I'm saying? Nothing else, boxing. And that's what I've been trying to do for years. Anyway, I didn't want to step on the Harris's toes and the Lane, so after I knew their gym wasn't around, there I went. I went and opened up a gym, and I got their support, and they all part of my gym. A lot of them.
Yeah, Roy Harrison likes to come and watch.
Yeah, he just sits around and watches, and it's just he's getting up there in age. And anyway, we threw this show, and part of his name. And what happened, we had juggled the dates, and it just so happened to have this date, and it happens to be his birthday.
Wow.
So it's Roy Harris's birthday, the same date we got, because you don't just get to choosing, you got to have an opening, and I don't know, which my secretary, and then she called me after 2 weeks or a week after, she goes, that happens to be his birthday. So
God works in amazing ways.
He does.
The word of the Lord says that the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, that all of our days have been seen and written before there was ever a day. So before Father's Day, and from my understanding, you had just lost your father, am I correct?
Yes, I lost him.
And so, God knows how to position others, or position us that we
Totally.
position others. And so it's a wonderful thing to see and to hear all that you're doing. You have an camp started already that I was made aware of through Chris, and it's a boxing and Bible camp, something totally different. I want to say this to you: your seed determines your harvest, and so because you are unselfish and you're willing to deposit not only what you've learned. And sometimes we're quick. I think I said this on yesterday on Today's Entrepreneur. We're quick to share our successes, but we never show our wounds or our what is considered failures. And I tell people failure is how you see it.
Yes.
And so I'm glad that you didn't allow what you've gone through to cause you to stall out, but you've taken that and you're now making deposits into others. And so share with us a little bit about your camp. I know that it has already started. It's at 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., but I want to get a little bit more information. I'm certain those who are watching and listening do as well.
Yeah, what they do, they bring these kids in there and they'll do their exercises, and they bring a little drink and lunch. You know, they break for lunch, and they actually show them Bible stories and talk to them about Bible. We have people that actually do that for us, to come in there and talk to them. Then they work out, and so we're just giving them a break, the parents a break, and they're in the summer to get their kids, but to teach them something to sweat out and just to introduce them to boxing, man. Boxing's just, I don't know, I'm just so passionate about where it's pulled me out of, and how I see it pulling a lot of people out of areas if you let it, you know what I'm saying? But you know, you gotta get into it, and once you do it, there's no turning back. It's gonna give you a direction in your life, you know what I'm saying? It gives you stability in boxing, and I see it every day, you know, through health, losing weight, these kids just picking up their self-esteem. You know, they're going into high school, junior high, where they feel intimidated, and schools nowadays can be pretty rough, you know?
Yes, with especially with, you know, we've seen some of the media, some of the media exposure in relations to bullying and things of that nature.
Exactly.
And then also kids are dealing with so many issues that we couldn't even fathom. When we were growing up, it was just totally different. You could make fun and make jokes, and it didn't go beyond what we see transpiring now, where kids are being bullied and then they're coming back and retaliating. And so it's a good thing that you are, you know, instilling these things and these values, and not just boxing, but, you know, using the word as a navigation, you know, to help people throughout life. And so that says a lot about you. And I just really want to say hats off.
Thank you so much.
Not just, you know, for what you're doing, but what you're going to do beyond today. So tell us a little bit more about the event, because I know it's tomorrow. I'm excited about being there. And if you want to turn that flyer around, highlight it, let some people see it.
Yeah, this event's going on tomorrow. The show's time starts at 6 o'clock. We got gyms coming from Dallas, San Antonio, South Texas, Houston, Beaumont. We got them coming from all over. We bought 20 very nice belts. I mean, these belts were, these things were expensive. They're really nice belts. But I mean, we like giving good awards to kids, and you know, it's going to have an engraved face of Roy Harris, and it's called the Roy Harris Classic. It's going to have his record on the belt, and then it has it says "Happy Birthday, Roy" on the belt. You know.
Wow.
So it's really neat, and you know, we're excited for all the Harrises to come out and, you know, and celebrate his birthday, and everybody in the community, because he's known throughout the community for years and years and years. So
great way to show you know, homage and to honor someone. You know, there's a word, and let me leave this with our listeners as well as with you. There's a word called epignosis. Epignosis is the Greek word in relations to honor. And it literally means to speak well of. It means to esteem highly. And whenever we honor someone, that happens. You know, it's just, you know, it's a certain effect that comes with when I esteem you, when I honor you, I acknowledge you, and I've taken myself out of the equation. God Himself says, you know what? Let me promote him. Let me elevate him. And so I encourage you to stay the course. Keep doing what it is that God has mandated and sanctioned you to do. We talked about it in the break. You know, it's in your DNA. This is what you were born to do before you were ever born. And so I encourage you to use every opportunity that God is going to present you with to continue to encourage and instill in our youth. And then also you get some old people like me. I need some help too. I need some help. I definitely need some help. But I wanted to say thank you again. Chris, is there anything else you want to share before we sign off here?
Well, I wanted to, tell us a little bit about, we got Vic, brand new coach at your gym, and he's running the Vacation Bible Camp, and he has a heart for God and the people, just as James does. And,
yes, he does.
So you learn more than just the technical skills at your gym.
We've got a lot of great. Vic is just our new guy on board. He's been with me before, but now he's our man. You know, to stay there all the hours. We need a gym rat one, someone that runs the gym. But Vic is our man, and we have a lot of other volunteers that are great, just like Vic, that come to our gym. We're blessed.
Well, listen, I have not seen, ear has not heard what God has already purposed and sanctioned for Mr. James Reyna and the Fearless Boxing Gym. So we want to thank you so much for participating and being a part of today's
Thank
Entrepreneur.
y'all. Thank y'all so
Chris,
much for the show.
for introducing. And listen, if you have not gotten your tickets, please go to the website. I think he has several information. Do we have enough time for him to share his information? Thank you. Go ahead and share it. Give them the website. Give them a phone number. Anything that they would need.
Tomorrow at the fairgrounds, Montgomery County Fairgrounds, not the convention center, but it's Exhibition B. They have the fundraisers for the sheriff and stuff out there. And anyway, that's where the show is going to start. It's going to be at 6:00 p.m. Show first bell. And we just need people to come out there, buy a ticket, watch a fight or two, come say hi, happy birthday to Roy, and just see what we do. You know, just support youth amateur boxing. We're a USA Boxing Gym. It is USA Boxing, and you know that's what we're part of, which is a great organization, and we're here to support them.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Once again, that is Fearless Boxing Gym. Join us tomorrow. Listen, I don't know what you have planned for the weekend. I know we're coming up on the 4th of July, so please add this to your calendar, your means of getting out. And if you have children, come on out and be a part. I'll be there. Chris will be there. And we look forward to seeing each and every one of you that are listening, that is following us through the social media sites. But we want to thank you for your support of 91.1 The Boss and today's Entrepreneur. Once again, I'm Orlando Daniels, and we thank you for sharing with us. Mr. James Reyna, you all celebrate the life of Roy Harris. Am I saying that correct? Roy Harris.
Roy Harris.
And come out and be a part of this wonderful event. Thank you all so
Thank
much
you.
for tuning in and listening. You all be blessed. Enjoy the remaining part of your weekend. God bless you.